All right, so Meta just released an update that allows you to sort the ad library by the number of impressions. So now you can type in a competitor and see which one of their ads are getting the most amount of views. And over on X, people are calling this one of the biggest updates in Meta ad library history. And Daniel from Active tweeted, if someone can create an AI scraper to review the top 10 ads in this every week, I'd pay for that. And so with the help of Claude Code, I built this exact tool. So this Meta Ad Spy has over 50 DTC brands already loaded in here. We've got big names like AG1, Caraway, Chomps, Comfort, Dr. Squatch, Runes, IM8, Jones Road Beauty, Magic Spoon, Ridge, and a bunch of others. And their ads with the most impressions will be added to it. Not only that, but for any ad in the ad library here, we can open this up and have AI analyze the ad for the type of asset, the visual format, the messaging angle, the hook tactic, and the offer type. And so this is the best way to keep an eye out on some of the biggest ad spenders in DTC to quickly get an idea of which of their ads are getting the most views on Meta. Now, in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I vibe coded this inside of Claude Code so you can build this yourself. Now, if you'd rather skip the build process, save a bunch of time, and get access to this template, which you can run on your own, add your own brands, I'm going to make this available inside my Scale AI community. So this is an AI and automation training hub for DTC brands, creative agencies who want to get their team trained up on AI and automation, but it also features a bunch of tools ready to import into your accounts so you can deploy these AI systems inside of your company. So again, if you want one-click import access to this custom Meta Ad Spy tool, be sure to check out the link below to Scale AI. All right, before we get into the build, let's take a step back here. So again, this is a huge update by Meta because they're allowing you to type any brand into the ads library. Come over here on the sort by, and now we can sort by impressions high to low. And so Meta is now going to hand you your competitor ads on a silver platter, showing you which ones are getting the most views, the most impressions. Now, as Daniel said over on X, it doesn't necessarily have to be your direct competitors. You can create a list of the top 100 or 150 spending brands in different categories to get inspiration from their ads. And that's exactly what this tool does. Again, it allows you to import any brand that you want and get a bird's eye view of their top spenders. Because while Meta is making this information available inside the ads library, there's no way to quickly automate this and get a quick view of 100 different brands that you care about. So our game plan for today is we are going to prompt and build this inside of Claude Code. So Claude Code is going to do all of the hard work, and I'm going to show you the prompting frameworks that I went back and forth. And then after that, we're just going to import it and host it on Replit because we need to host this somewhere. And the cool thing about Replit is that if you download my template from inside the community and import it into Replit, it's going to allow you to make any changes or customizations that you want. And just to be clear, I spent hours fully building this out yesterday. And in today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of the types of prompts that I use. I'm going to try to recreate it as much as possible from scratch just to teach you how you can do this on your own. All right, when we're building this out, let's think about the features that we're trying to accomplish here. What do we actually want this tool to do? So the first thing we want is an ability to import a brand, right? You want to keep an eye on, maybe it's your competitors, maybe it is the top 100 brands, but we need a way for you to be able to manually add a brand with a brand name in a URL. So let's write this down here. Import brand by Facebook ad library URL. All right, now we have our URL. How do we actually get these ads, right? We need to scrape the ads and get all of the data. So for that, we're going to use Apify. So I'm going to say use Apify scraper to get all ad data. And once we've got all of the ads coming in, we want a way to be able to kind of click into these and get this nice pop-up that displays information like the brand, when the ad started running. I want to pull in all of the data from Apify, like the headline and the ad copy. So let's add this, right? Create a pop-up modal that displays all the Apify data for each ad. Now, also in this pop-up modal, we also want the ability to have AI analyze the ad with Gemini. So let me just show you this feature in real time. So you can come in here, click on that analyze button. It's going to send the ad to Gemini, whether it's a video, whether it's an image, and it's going to pull in all of these different items here: the asset type, visual format, messaging angle, hook tactic, and if there's any kind of offer. All right, so you can see that worked perfectly. We have UGC, it's a skit, messaging angle is aspiration, hook tactic is there's a text hook, and then there's no offer. This is just a UGC video. So let's add that to our plan here. Have Gemini analyze the ads for type, hook, etc. Now, we also want to introduce some kind of filtering system. I tried not to go too crazy here, but you can see at the top, we can filter by brands. You can select multiple brands. You can filter by the vertical or the category. You can filter on when the ad was launched. So we've got a date picker here. You can filter on the media type. You can sort by newest first or oldest first, depending on when the ad was launched. And then when you're in a specific brand, you can also search on the top ranked ads. And then finally, we have an AI tagging filter as well. So after you run the AI analysis, you can come in here and filter on, for example, UGC videos. So let's go back to our plan over here and just make a note that we add filtering, sorting options for viewing all the ads. Now, one thing that I did when I was, again, spending all day yesterday doing this is I added an auto weekly scrape. So instead of you having to go into each brand and manually refreshing the brand, this allows you to automate the scraping every week. So every Tuesday, for example, at 10 a.m., Apify is going to fire. It's going to run the scrape on all of your brands, find the newest top 10 ads. And there's also an option in here that will auto-analyze those ads with AI if you want to use those Gemini credits. So this is in the finished product. I'm not going to go through all of those prompts in this video because it did take me a long time, but just to show you an option that you can add if you are doing this yourself. So in this video, I'm going to show you all of the prompts that I use to create this from scratch. If you want access to all of these prompts, I'm going to leave another link below this video where you can opt in and get access completely for free. Not only that, but I have a starter template that I'm using when I start up a new Claude Code session. And this is the starter pack you can use with Claude Code when you start a new project. So instead of starting a brand new project from scratch with Claude Code, I'm going to give you access to this folder with all of the starter files that shows Claude how to build this specifically for hosting it on Replit. And again, if you want access to that starter template completely for free, along with the prompts, you can opt in at the link below. All right, so let's get started with the build. So again, inside of Claude Code, I use that starter template as my project folder. And then I just followed these instructions here on getting started. So I started with that folder as the base of my project in Claude Code. And then I just prompted Claude Code to initialize project on my local host. And so now you can see we kind of have this blank template up and running on my local host. All right, so let's start with the prompts. Now, there's a couple different modes here in Claude Code. Since this is gonna be the very first prompt, basically, I'm gonna go into plan mode just to see that Claude and I are on the same page here. Now, I'm gonna paste in the first prompt. I'm saying I wanna build a tool that scrapes the top performing ads from Meta's ad library for DTC brands. Let's start with the basic project setup. So this is just confirming the setup here. And I'm saying I'll need tables for storing brands and for storing the ads that we scrape. The server should serve as a front end from a views folder. So let's send that off. So it's going to look at the existing project structure. Again, we have a basic framework here for an app that we can import to Replit. And again, just to be clear while it's building, the only reason that I'm going to put this on Replit is so that my students will be able to access this as a template in the community. They'll be able to import it into their Replit and then run it on their own Replit account. So it will be fully theirs. Not only that, they'll be able to prompt Replit if they want to make changes. So if there's any customizations you want to make to this tool, you can do that through Replit. So that's the whole idea here. It's going to allow us to host it somewhere and then also make changes. All right, so Claude Code is getting back to us and it's asking, what additional metadata do you want to capture beyond the standard fields? And we're going to get to that later. So I'm going to type something else and I'm going to say, we're going to get to that a little bit later. We're going to be using an Apify scraper that's going to pull in specific fields. So we can figure that out in just a bit. All right, so I'm going to submit that. And again, we're going to be using an Apify scraper, which is going going to pull in this information. All right, so Claude is saying it's going to design a flexible schema that can accommodate whatever fields come from the scraper. Claude's going to come up with a detailed plan. You can obviously review this in detail if you want to change it. I'm just going to approve the plan, and then we can make changes as we go. And then since I have a bunch of prompts pre-ready for you guys, I'm going to let Claude know that so it doesn't get ahead of itself. Just to be clear, I have this mapped out pretty well in my head with about 13 to 15 specific prompts. I don't know if you want to pause and let me send you the next prompt. So in this case, I don't want Claude Code to get too ahead of itself, building out a bunch of features that maybe we don't want, and then potentially leaving out some features that we do want. All right, so now Claude Code has gone through its original to-do list. It's gonna restart the server, and then we can see what it looks like. All right, so if we come into the app and refresh, we can see we've got a new UI, we've got the brands up here, and we've got the ads over here. All right, so we're making a little bit of progress. All right, I'm gonna go back into my prompt document and paste in the next one here, which talks about importing the brands with their Facebook page URL. So let me paste this prompt into Claude Code. All right, so now it finished that step. And when we go to the brands page, let's try to test adding a brand. So I'm gonna click on add brand. Let's do AG1. I'm gonna grab the URL. And again, we are sorted by impressions by default. Let me add the Facebook page URL. I don't care about website URL. Category should be a drop down and note. So let me just add these to Claude Code as I'm doing this. All right, I'm adding a new brand. I'm going to test this in a second. You can remove the website URL. We do not need that. Category, we should have a predefined list of categories in a drop down. We can tweak this later, but for now, just come up with 5 to 6 different DTC categories like beauty, health, fashion, food and drink, etc. And again, that should be a drop down that the user can select, and then you can remove that notes field. All right, for now, let's just test it with the brand name and the Facebook page URL. I'm gonna click on add brand. All right, so that worked. We do have AG1 in here. There's no way to edit that or click in. Let's see if the delete button works. All right, the delete works, but there's no way to edit the brand. Also on the brands page, I want to be able to edit the brand. So if I need to change the Facebook page URL for whatever reason, add the feature that I can go in and edit. All right, so it's saying that it tweaked the UI when we add a new brand. So if we refresh over here, all right, great. We've got brand name, Facebook page URL, and we do have the drop down on the categories, which we can change later if we want, but now that is working. All right, so it's saying that each brand now has a pencil button. So let me refresh here, and there we go. There's the pencil. Let me edit this. All right, so now I can change brand name. Now for the Facebook page URL, it is showing the current ID, which may have been my fault in the initial prompt. So let me actually grab the URL here, and let's go back to Claude Code and say, all right, that worked, and maybe I was unclear on the Facebook page URL in my instructions. So the idea is the user is going to paste in a very specific ads manager URL. It's not the Facebook page URL. So it's going to be a link to a brand's meta ad library, and it's going to be sorted specifically by impressions. I'll send you a link below, and it's this URL that's going to be specifically fed to Apify when we do the Apify integration. So when the user pastes in this URL, we want to save this exactly as is. So you can remove Facebook page URL field and replace it with meta ads library URL. And again, I'll show you the type of link that a user will paste. So I'm just going to paste in the ads library link for, again, I think this is AG1. And importantly, when you paste it in, you can see the total impressions is how it's being sorted. So let's fire that off and see if Claude Code can make that change. Claude Code said it's done, and just FYI, I did update the prompt here if you're using the prompt template. So let's go back to our app over here. Let's click to add a new brand. And again, we can do AG1. And now we've got the meta ad library URL. We have the category. Let's select health, click add brand. All right, so we are getting an error. It's probably still looking for the Facebook page URL. All right, we got an error. I think it might still be looking for a Facebook page URL. And let's send that off to Claude Code for it to fix. All right, let's try adding a new brand. So let's do AG1 again. So we'll put in the meta ad library URL, select the category here and click add brand. All right, so now we've got AG1 in there. We can delete brands we don't want, and we can edit existing brand. All right, next, let's kind of tweak the front end structure here. Let's get the colors branded more on Meta, and let's get more specific with what we want to see with the brands tab and the ads tab. So let me copy this prompt over and send it off to Claude Code. All right, so it said it refreshed our UI. Let me do a UI refresh here. All right, so we've got a little more Meta ads branding, although it still is a dark color. And then our tables, at least the brand table, looks a little better here. All right, next we want to add the integration with Apify to go out and scrape these ads. So if you're not familiar with Apify, it's basically a marketplace or an app store for different web scrapers, right? So this is a scraper that actually Apify created themselves that helps you scrape the Facebook ad library, right? That's how we're actually going to pull in all of this data from Facebook. So we need to prompt Claude Code with this information. I'm going to tell it the specific Apify actor or scraper that I want. So let me paste this in, and then I'm also going to give it specific information on the scraper itself. So again, this is the scraper we're using. If I go to API over here, let's just click around a little bit, go to API clients, and then this node.js code is going to tell Claude Code, hopefully, how to configure this. So I'm going to copy this over just for context, paste it below that. And I'm also going to say, let me know if you need any more documentation from the Apify site to get this set up. All right, so let's send that off to Claude. And again, the idea here is it needs to integrate this specific scraper with your API key in order to actually come back and scrape this. Because again, right, I've built this myself with my Apify API key and my Gemini API key. But when I make it available inside my community to my members, they're going to be able to basically clone or import it into their own Replit account, but they need to use their own API keys for Apify and Gemini. All right, so Claude is going to take that documentation that I sent from Apify. It's going to install the Apify client for us and integrate the Apify actor into our app. All right, so Claude Code has said it's added the Apify integration. Let's try to test this out. All right, so we have a scrape button now. So let's see what happens. I'm going to click on scrape. It's going to say fail to start. So let me screenshot this error into Claude Code. All right, it says there was a minor issue in there and it's fixed. Let's go back, refresh, click on scrape. All right, it's spinning. It's saying that it's starting to scrape, so let's give it a second here. Now, one thing that I did not specify, I don't think, is I really only want to scrape, roughly the top 20 ads or so. It might be going out and scraping the entire ad library of AG1, so this could take a second. All right, so we got another error, which may be a good thing because I do want to tell Claude Code I only want to scrape 20 ads. All right, we did get another error, and just FYI, I may have forgotten to mention, I don't want to scrape the entire ad library. I want you to, there's an Apify setting where you can limit the amount of ads to scrape. Let's limit it to 20 ads to scrape. All right, so let's come back. Claude Code said it fixed that. Let's go back to scrape. It said it changed it to limit the results to 20 ads. All right, so it says scrape complete, found 20 ads, saved 20 new ads. All right, if we go into the ad table, we have some data here. I don't know if these are actual ads, but we have something. All right, so what I'm going to do is take a screenshot of this. So we are pulling in something. I'm just not sure if this is actual data or not. All right, so the scrape completed. I don't know if it actually worked or not. Let me show you what the ads page looks like right now. All right, so Claude Code is saying to scrape again. So let's go back. Did they clear out the ads? All right, let's go back to brands. Let's scrape this again. And we'll work on the UI for the ads page, but I just want to see that it's pulling in the correct data. All right, after a little bit of more back and forth, I did run a new scrape, and now we can see we are pulling in, it looks like, active ads from AG1. All right, so we do have 20 ads here. We can't click into them yet. The UI is not great, but it does look like it is pulling in the ad. All right, so let's work on the user interface here. So now I'm going to take this prompt from the prompt template that I'm going to give you guys, paste it into Claude Code, and let's just try to clean this up a little bit. Again, on the finished version that I have, you can see the homepage for the ads looks significantly better. All right, so let's try to test this new layout here. Go back into ads, and we have some ads displaying in here. All right, some images are not, but wow, now we can click in, right? All right, we've got the started date, we've got the image of the ad, we've got the headline, we've got the ad copy, we've got the call to action and the destination URL as well. Does this work? Can we click it open in the actual ad library? All right, there it is. All right, so we can click from the app. It's gonna open it up in ad library. All right, so this looks really good. There is an issue here with the videos not rendering and even some images, but it's mostly the video. So let me just screen grab this and send it to Claude. Now, I think the issue here is that Apify uses a different field for the video thumbnail. All right, so that looks pretty good. And the images, the cover images for the image ads are mostly rendering, but the cover images, or the thumbnails rather, for the video ads are not rendering. I think that's because Apify sends that in a different field. Can you look into that? All right, so this is pretty good so far. We're now scraping ads from AG1 based on the number of impressions. And just to show you this is actually working, right? So this is the first ad that we're showing. It's this free duffel bag ad. Then we've got 3 video ads, and then we've got this woman here twice. If I go into AG1's actual ad library, I'm sorted here by impressions, we can see that duffel bag ad is number 1. We've got a couple of video ads, and then we've got that woman here twice. So it is pulling in correctly, and it is sorting correctly. All right, so it's saying to refresh here. Let me refresh. Now, when I refresh, it goes back to brands, which is kind of annoying. All right, there we go. We've got the video ads now with the thumbnail. So we can see this is one that's not coming in, but all these other ones are coming in great. And again, we can click into these ads. We've got the headline, we've got the ad copy. We can actually play this video in line, which is really good. And we can view it in the ad library. So this is looking pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna actually skip the 6th prompt for this video because I don't want this to be a 2-hour video, but I'll explain what this is. So in my version that I'm releasing to my community, I added a little deduplication logic, because sometimes what will happen is Apify will get multiple copies of effectively the same ad. So it's the same image, it's the same headline, the same description, and they're pulling it in as unique ads, and that really clutters up the UI when it's showing one brand that has 20 ads, but it's really 7 ads and they're all duplicates, you know what I mean? So what this prompt is doing, and what I set up, and it did take me a little bit of time, is set up some logic where the app will try to deduplicate based on the image, the headline, and the description. So it's only showing those ads one time. So you can definitely try that. Again, to move forward, I'm gonna skip this part for now. All right, so I just tested with a new brand. So I added Groons, did the same idea, imported, hit scraped, and now we've got Groons ads along with AG1 ads. All right, so these are Groon's most popular ads by impressions along with AG1. All right, so now we've got multiple brands working. Why don't we come back in and try some filtering, right? So how do we filter? Again, going back to mine, we have multiple filter options here, but let's try to get some basic filtering. So let's take this prompt, which is prompt 7, go back into Claude Code and fire that off and see if we can filter this a little bit. All right, let's see what happens. So let me refresh the page here. Claude said it was done running. So we have ads now. We've got a drop down here. All right, so it does allow us to filter by brand. So if I select Groons, I'm gonna get Groons ads. Let me clear, let me select AG1. All right, now I've got AG1. So now we've got a basic filter set up. All right, let's go to prompt 8 here, which is gonna be another filter on media type, and you can add all certain types of filters here. But again, Apify is pulling in images, it's pulling in videos. This will give us the option to filter on that. And we're also gonna add a sorting toggle here to give you the option to sort by newest ads based on when it was launched, oldest ads, or use the impression rank. So let me send off that prompt. All right, so let's refresh here and see what we have. Let's go back to the ads page. All right, so we've got the brand filtering. We've got videos and images. So we can view videos, we can view images, And let's see if the sorting works. So it's sorting by newest first, oldest first, and top ranked. All right, pretty cool there. All right, so prompt number 9, again, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip over this. This is simply infinite scroll. And so again, in my version, you can just keep scrolling and scrolling, and it's going to load new ads. So if you want to implement that into your version, you can use prompt number 9. Now let's do a bookmark feature. So the idea is if you find an ad that you like, you can click into it and you can bookmark it. And now it's saved to your bookmarks. And you can come up into your menu here, and now I've got that video or that ad saved. So let's try to implement that feature as well. We'll grab prompt number 10 here and paste it in. All right, so Claude was working for a bunch there. Let's refresh, and all right, I can see we have bookmarks now in the menu. If we go into an ad, I see it right there. Let me click in. All right, so I do not see the bookmark in this pop-up modal, but let's see if we can hover over that. All right, so I clicked that bookmark, and when I go back, all right, that does work. It's in my bookmarks when I hover over here. Again, in my final version of this, the way that I had this set up is that I click into the ad, and then I select the bookmark from up here. But for this version, it's working, so let's keep going. All right, next what we want to do is set up the Gemini integration so that AI can actually analyze these ads for, again, the type of asset, the visual format, the messaging angle. So we're going to use the Gemini API for that. So let's go back into the prompt template here. So we're going to request to use Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. Now, if you are building this from scratch, I do recommend finding the API documentation for Gemini, because when I originally built this out, this did take a long time. It had some issues. So I'm in the Gemini API docs, and then under core capabilities, let's do image understanding. So this is going to be for text image ads. I'm just going to copy this whole thing to my clipboard and say, analyzing these static ad images, please check out this API documentation from Gemini, and then paste in those docs. And then let's do the same thing for vision or video analysis. So I'm going to click in video and then video understanding. I'm going to copy the docs here and say, and then for the video ads, please use this Gemini capability to watch and analyze the videos, and then paste in that documentation. So I want to give Claude Code as much context and documentation as possible. When you're dealing with APIs, when you're just building features that look good on the front end, it's a lot easier. But when you're dealing with actual APIs that the app needs to call successfully, as much context and documentation that you can give it, the better it's going to handle it. Let's go back and refresh, and let's go to some ads. Let's click into this Groons one. So this is an image ad. All right, so we do have an Analyze with AI button right here. I'm just curious if the integration with Gemini is actually going to work for a one-shot prompt there. Let's see. It says it's analyzing. Oh, we have an analysis down here. I just can't see it. All right, so let me just screenshot this and just send that over to Claude real quick. All right, so it said it made that fix. Let me refresh here, go back to ads. All right, so one thing I noticed, it didn't save the AI analysis, so let's try to generate it from scratch. All right, so we have an AI analysis here, visual analysis, messaging and hook, target audience, and you can see it actually is analyzing the ad, free duffel and welcome kit. All right, so that worked really well. I just want to go back. All right, that worked for the image ads. I'm going to test it on a video ad next. But one thing I noticed is that when I clicked out of the ad and came back, it did not save the AI analysis. So we need to make sure that when a user runs the AI analysis on an ad, that it saves it when they go back into it. All right, I want to test this also with a video ad while Claude is working on that. So let's test this one. And again, it's going to use a different Gemini API, so I'm wondering if it got that correctly. Let me click Analyze with AI on here. All right, so it did work. Let's see. The visual centers around a woman in casual attire preparing an AG1 drink. So it actually is watching that video, analyzing the video, Claude Code did that in a single shot. So the AI analysis is working. We just need to make sure that it's actually saved to this record if the user comes back. All right, so it says it's finished that up. Let me refresh. I don't know if the refresh. Yeah, I might have to do the analysis again. So let's go back to this video one. All right, there is the analysis. Let me X out. Now, I don't know if it's gonna actually save this. If I refresh, I should have saved that. Go back. All right, there is the AI analysis. So it actually saved it to the record. And let me come in here and try to bookmark that ad. Go to my bookmarks. Now I can come back in here. We've got the full ad with the AI analysis. That is awesome. All right, so we are at a spot that's working really well, right? We can import brands with their Facebook ad library URL, make sure it's already pre-sorted by impressions. We can import the brands. We can click on scrape. It's going to scrape the ads. It's going to bring them into our dashboard. We can click into any ad. We get the full headline, the ad copy, the image. We can analyze with AI. We can view it in the ad library. We can bookmark it as well. And so now you've got a fully working system where you can scrape in any brand that you want to track, pull in all of their top ads by impressions, and analyze it with AI. Now, there's many more steps in this prompting document that I'm going to leave when you opt into this video. So there's different ways to do the AI tagging. We can filter on the AI tags. You can add a scrape all button that will scrape all of your brands instead of doing it one by one. There's tons of different ways to customize this. And again, if you want the finished, polished version of the app that I've already created with all of these features ready to import into your Replit, make sure to check out my Scale AI community. We've got loads of templates. We've got loads of custom tools in there, custom AI automations, standalone AI trainings on how to use different AI tools. So again, if you're a DTC brand, a creative agency, a creative strategist, you're running TikTok shop, and you want to get up to speed with all things AI, automation, and custom tools to help scale your brand, make sure to check out the community below.